The Lustful Vampire, Sandra, Part 2, and Conclusion. The dinner went as planned for both parties. Sandra trapped her husband, and Clive couldn't believe his luck. Within 2 months, they were married in a brief ceremony. Sandra's parents were the only guests since Clive's were both deceased in a traffic accident, and he had no friends. At first, Sandra would play the dutiful wife. For the first year, she would endeavor to return home each day rather than book into a hotel as was her wont and custom. She showed enormous tenacity in design to maintain her assumed affection for her husband. For all intents and purposes, they appeared to be a happy couple. But no children blessed the marriage, and Sandra's parents became disheartened once again. Shortly after the elapse of the first year, Sandra began slowly changing the marriage structure. Clive had developed a new passion: chess. He'd joined Manchester Chess Club and had become engrossed in the game. Sandra took full advantage of this latest mathematical obsession of his and began to stay in hotels when traveling away from home and return home only on the following day. It then became 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, until sometimes she would leave on a Monday morning and wouldn't return home until Friday night, claiming to have more work on and that her extensive travels over large distances made it impractical to return home each night. Clive accepted this, as he always did, and fell ever deeper into his pursuit of cracking the code of how best to play chess. The couple grew more distant. On the weekend, Sandra would return home, complain of exhaustion, and resist any of Clive's sexual advances. Finally, all sex ceased regularly, too, and only occasionally, throughout the year, would Sandra instigate an advance from Clive to keep him trapped. Clive began to attend chess tournaments almost every weekend, so husband and wife rarely saw each other. Sandra had succeeded in her design. She had become married and financially assured but kept her lifestyle intact. Children never blessed the marriage, and her parents crawled into their pensionable age without hearing their hoped-for grandchildren's laughs and cries. Years passed, and both of Sandra's parents died. Sandra's last bane of her life left her, and she smiled. To all her friends, colleagues, and family, Sandra led the ideal lifestyle: a working wife, a loving husband, wealthy, good-looking, and highly charismatic. However, in reality, a darker side contrasts this existence. Sandra would regularly hunt for men on certain evenings after sales and occasionally during the day. She would never entertain her clients but would pick up men in either some hotel bar or other such establishments. She would only pick up one man a week, and he was carefully chosen. She would never meet the man again or frequent the bar or hotel where the liaison was struck, nor would she take a man in the same city or town in the same month, but would choose different cities and towns to trap, as she would say, my prey. Sandra is a vampire and displays all the characteristics of a successful and powerful vampire. She is ambitious, charming, determined, focused, lacks empathy, and will exploit everyone, including close family, to get what she wants. This vampiric creature delights when her parents pass away. Family and parents are no good for the vampire. As will be seen later, the vampire is a hopeless parent and partner. The vampire is too selfish to be a loving and caring parent or partner. However, the aversion to parenting does not dissuade the vampire from entering into marriage or relationships. But before the vampire can do so, it must eliminate its victim's friends.